Hello students, welcome to CMI's online classes, and this video is for class 7 chapter number 15, and the name of the chapter or the topic is light. So in our previous video we discussed about or we talked about different sources of light. That means natural source like sun, the star and few other insects, and artificial source of light, or we can say an alternative source of light like tube lights or bulbs, okay, the torch lights, okay. Then we talked about a luminous object and non-luminous objects and formation of shadows. So in this video we will be talking about different properties of light and few basic idea of reflection and refraction. Okay, so for that let's talk about what is light. As we all know, we have seen, but what is the basic features that a light has? That means it's not that a light only comes to a object where it is required. It is for all. And what is the reason that in a dark room we can't see any objects? Okay, then we have a question that why the mirror is or the image is inverted or in opposite directions. Okay, we will learn different features. So for that we have to talk about properties, the object in which light falls, okay, reflection and refraction. Okay, so let's start with the first feature, that is properties of light. So light travels in straight line and is a form of energy. Okay, that means light travels in a straight line. It is not that it comes to you by moving a curved path. Okay, it travels in a straight line and it is a form of energy. Why it is called form of energy? Because solar energy you can get from light only. Okay, even plants, they prepare their food with the help of light only, because if light is not there they can't photosynthesize. Okay, even we can regulate our body temperature with the help of light only. Okay. Second point, light travels much faster. Okay, then faster than sound. Okay, 1,000,000 times faster. Okay. First light, we will see light, then we can hear the sound. Okay, we will talk citing few examples later. We see things because they reflect light on our eyes. That means here we have to learn about eyes also. Okay, as for example, I told that in a dark room we can't see anything because light is not reflected there, and if light is not reflected there we can't see the light. Let's take an example of a blind man. Okay, we have taken an example of blind man because we have to talk about the vision. Okay, so why they can't see the light? Light falls on all other objects, but that can't be received by a blind man. Okay, so shadows are found when light is blocked by an object. Okay, we can see a shadow. Few discussion was done earlier also. Okay, so that type of object is called opaque object. As for example, wood or wall or the trees or human beings, or we can say a car, okay, a bike, whatever. Then fifth point is visible light is only a small part of the electromagnetic spectrum. That means what we see the light is very small part. Okay, and spectrum means the refraction. Okay, it's not that light comes to us directly. It is spectated through the air molecules. Okay, The other part are invisible to the human eye, but not necessarily the eyes of other animals. The image we can't see. Okay, other animals can see that image. So it is very much interesting. Okay, so we will talk about later the structure of human eye also. Okay, so light travels in a straight line. We will have an experiment here. Okay, the experiment is quite simple. Okay, but we have to discuss, and you can perform at your home also. So we have placed a boat. Okay, we have placed a boat here. Okay, here we have placed a boat. Okay, and on the extreme end, that means one side of the boat, we have put a candle that is lit up. So as I was discussing that on the one side of the boat we have placed a candle. Okay, and it has been lit up, and on the opposite side of the candle we have to see, and in between that three boards has been placed: board A, board B and board C, and each have a hole, or we have made a hole in each board, and that hole is exactly at the same position. Okay, so if we observe from the hole, we can see the flame. Okay, that means we can see the flame from the hole. And but if any of the board is removed or misplaced, okay, what will happen? The flame or the light will be blocked because it forms a opaque object. So here we have misplaced or moved block B. So block B, the other part of the board B, blocks the ray of light. Okay, we can do it by A also or C also. If any of the board is moved or misplaced, we can't see the light. So this proves that light travels in a straight path. Okay. So as we have discussed about the properties of light, we came to know that it travels faster than the sound. What do you mean by that? Much more faster. That means before we can hear the sound of certain things, if that is producing light also, okay, we hear we see the light first of all. As for example, let's have an example of thunder and lightning. So thunder and lightning start at the same time. And when do they usually occur? They usually occur during the monsoon or in the rainy season. So what happens at that time? First of all, we will see the light. Then we hear the sound. Okay, if you all have clearly observed, you can imagine that or see that, okay, or feel that. Then we have another example. When a starting pistol is fired, we see the smoke first, that means the light, and then hear the bang, the sound. Okay, this is in the case of the woofers also. As for example, the top, okay, and other firing weapons. Okay, so these examples proves that light travel faster than sound. Then let's see at what speed do they travel. So light travels very fast, about 3 lakh kilometers per second, or 1,86,000 miles per second if we convert it in miles. That means in this speed the light takes almost 8 times faster to reach in 1 second. Okay, that means at this speed light could travel equivalent of 8 times round the world in 1 second. Okay, that means it's not that it travels very slowly. Okay, if we just imagine, okay, it travels 8 times in 1 second. Understood? Then we will move towards what we discussed in our previous slide, the objects. That means the materials through which light is passed. So we have 3 type of material: transparent material, translucent material, and opaque material. Okay, we can, instead of material, we can also write medium. So what do you mean by transparent material? So transparent material let light pass through them in a straight line easily. That means the light easily pass through the transparent material. Examples: transparent glass. Okay, light easily passes. You can see at your home also, when you have in the evening or in the night, when light is on, what happens? From outside the window you can see the light if there is no curtains. Okay, crystals are a good example of transparent materials. Then we have translucent materials. Okay, that let some amount of light, means partially. Okay, that means not completely. Okay, some light is reflected or blocked, and some light is passed through the translucent material. Example, we have tissue papers. Okay, if you keep a tissue paper and just put on the torch, the light will pass, but in a very small amount. Okay, not as that in a transparent material. Then we have frosted glasses, mostly used in bathrooms or other places where privacy has been kept. Okay, so this was example of translucent material. Then we have opaque material. What are opaque material? Are those material which do not let the light pass through them. That means they completely block the light. As for example, wall. Okay, if you have a wall and if you put on a light, the other rooms will not get a light. Why? Because you have an opaque medium in between the two rooms. Okay. Example, we have hood, or we ourselves are good example. Okay, and this opaque material can be earth and the moon. Okay, we have seen lunar eclipse and solar eclipse, Chandragrahan and Suryagrahan. Okay, how this is caused? Because the material, that means the earth and the moon, they come in between the light. Okay, so that's why we can't see through this material, and that material is termed as opaque materials. Okay, then we will move towards characteristics of light. Same thing. As we all know, light travels in a straight line. Okay, not in a curved path. But the thing is that light can be reflected, bent, or refracted depending upon where it falls. Where it falls means in which object or in which material. It can be transparent, it can be translucent, or it can be opaque. Okay, suppose, let's see here, incident of light, that means source, is thrown. If it is transmitted, that means the object is transparent. When it is reflected, then we can say it is a opaque medium, and some part is absorbed, some part of absorbed. So mostly these three, reflected, absorbed, and transmitted, we see in all light forms. Okay, but the thing is that only few can be seen. Okay, now let's move towards what do you mean by, we have an example here. Opaque or translucent object blocks or reflect the light. Okay, they either reflect or block the light, as we discussed in our previous slides. Okay, then transparent object light will pass straight through it. That means it pierces the transparent object and you can see the light. Just see here in the example, a window. It is made up of glass, so it is a transparent object, and when light is so we can say that light easily pass through the windows. Okay, and this type of object is known as transparent object. In the same way, on the right hand side we have a hood here. Sorry, it's a tree, or you can say hood also. Okay, and sunlight, the light of the sun is blocked and it forms a shadow here. Okay, so this was all about opaque, translucent and transparent object. Now we see things because they reflect light into our eyes. Okay, that means if this is an object, okay, so the light is reflected here and that reflection of light reaches to our eyes. Okay, this is literally the only way we get to see things. All objects we see either create light or reflect light. So this was all what I was talking about. I have given you example of a blind man previously. So if there is a blind man, suppose this boy is blind, so can he see the object? Can he see the piece of paper? No, he can't, because the reflected light doesn't reach to the boy or the blind boy. Similarly, if the room is dark, no light is reflected, so we can't see anything in a dark room. Okay, so whatever the things we see is the reflection of light. The light is reflected there and it reaches to our eyes, and we have some specialized function, okay, to see the light. Then let's talk about regular or diffused reflection. So what do you mean a regular or diffused reflection? As we discussed that all form of light reflects. That means it reflects and move to other places. Okay, so smooth, shiny surface have a regular reflection. Okay, regular reflection is when light is scattered in different direction. Okay, rough, dull surface have a diffused reflection. Okay, but regular reflection is straight. That means in a straight path. That angle of incident is equal to angle of reflection. Whereas in diffused reflection, if the surface is not smooth, if it is uneven, okay, if it is uneven, then the angle of incident is not equal to the angle of incident. That means, reflection. That means the angle of red line will not be equal to that of a blue line. Okay, so that is regular and diffused reflection. So we will have a review of reflection. Okay, that means what we talked about reflection in a more simpler way. So two types of reflection. We have regular reflection and diffused reflection. And mirrors come in three types: plane, convex and concave. Each has a distinct shape and use. We will talk about plane mirror, convex mirror and concave mirror later on. Okay, we will talk about lens also. Mirrors can make virtual image or real image depending on their type. That in virtual means opposite, real means what we are. Okay, so virtual image, light rays do not meet at the image is always upright or right side up. That means opposite. Okay, that means if you are standing and there is a virtual image, your head will be down and your legs will be up. Okay. Similarly, real image always upside down and are found when light rays are actually meet. That means whatever you are, you will see in the image. Okay. So this was a rough or introductory discussion on reflection, and in our next session we will talk more about reflection, refraction, then plane mirror, convex mirror, concave mirrors, etc. Even real image and virtual image also we will study. Okay, so till then, thank you.